See, Chef, I'm not worried about his offense at all. Like his defense is, I know he's been doing very well, and I'm gonna give him his due. But that's the one thing that scares me with Chef is he gets in those modes where the old Chef comes back and he wants to outscore you. And the one thing I know that's put him over the edge this year is that he controls the game. He doesn't let you touch the ball for minutes at a time. And
Mm-hmm.
if he continues to do that, people don't know how to play when they get a minute per quarter to have the ball. I
Well,
mean, it's that simple.
and Bugs is trying to chase down some LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, AP numbers. He's got 22 rushing touchdowns on the year.
Yeah, him and Connor O'Reilly right now, it's definitely one hell of a matchup for that running back of the year award and possibly MVP.
And probably MVP. There's
Yeah.
I mean, when you're third in the MVP ranking is your middle linebacker. There's not a lot of hope for
Quarterbacks have had a rough year. That's definite. I mean, if Stafford was still on your team over there, it'd be a different story, but you've had some growing pains at your quarterback position, and that showed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing the ball all over the field like I was last year. I'm still trying to decide between Boykin and Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch kind of got off to a rough start, so I ran with Boykin for a couple weeks. But he had a good last week, so still QB controversy. It'll probably be that way till the playoffs.
It's like Bledsoe and Brady all over again.
Pretty
Well,
much.
Not to jump off the topic of the top 10 too much, but a shocker for me on the season is Ezekiel Elliott only having 5 rushing touchdowns. With that O-line, he's still averaging 5 yards a carry, but only 5 touchdowns on almost 750 yards rushing. Yeah, you expect more out of Zeke with that O-line.
Well, but see, here's the thing. I mean, I know the Lions has played the new Cowboys user, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a guy outside of the top 10 of the power rankings right now that I think will probably be in a playoff spot. I think he's really good.
I agree, but he's not like the old Cowboys user who was very defense running oriented.
Yep.
Where this guy, I seems to pass a lot more. I've seen that.
Well, and he has
A
Aaron
lot
Rodgers, so it'd be hard not to be tempted to do it.
Exactly. When you have those luxuries, you can do whatever you want. But it definitely shows the passing numbers have definitely increased since he's came in. So I wouldn't give him too much shit since he's actually just got in the league, and you've pretty much start off what the champ first week. So I mean, give him his due. I'm worried
we had
about
a whole
that team.
half season before he even joined though, and that's we still had him for the so I was just shocked. Excuse me.
But yeah, I mean, my opinion, honestly, I would put the Bills higher than all those teams, but I don't think he's in it this year. Like I talked to him. I don't know how much he's serious about it, but he just doesn't seem to have that like
a step back from everything this season.
I don't think he really wants. He doesn't want it like he did last year. I don't know if it's
Super Bowl
because of what
losses
Detroit.
hurt.
Super Bowl losses hurt, but there's been a lot of shit that's happened in the league, and he's had a lot of things that he didn't agree with. And not to say I disagree with him on everything, because there's a few things I do agree with him on. But at a certain point, you just got to get past all the bullshit and play the games. And I think he knows that just like I do. If he listens to the podcast, I ain't calling him out because I know last time I called him out, I got my ass kicked for it. So all I'm going to say is if he actually wants to win this thing, it's his. But I just don't think he's in it. I think this year, Bulldogs, I would put Bulldogs, Jags, Bills, and Browns. But Bills and Browns can flip in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I think that's the way I look at it right now, just because of the way they're built. And those defenses are going to pretty much trump at the end of the day. And I think the Bulldogs got, in my opinion, at least one of the top 3 defenses in the league.
I'd agree with that. He held me to 20 points when we played. A sneaky 20 points. Like, he shut me down most of the game. So after the second half, I only scored a field goal. So
yeah, he makes you work for every point. And if you don't take field goals when he's given, you're screwed.
So how do you feel about these last 2 spots?
Uh,
Do I gotta call out the Packers? I don't know where the Packers are in the power rankings, so I don't know.
I think you'd
Well,
have to.
as I updated Daddy Leagues, it is now placing you, Acid, at 9 and the Cardinals at 10.
I'm not in the
Uh,
top 10. If you look at my schedule, I haven't faced anybody. I mean, all power to all the guys I've played, but they've all had rough years, and I know a lot of them are looking forward to the draft. So, like, my two quality wins right now are Raiders and Texans, I think. And both of them are facing off this week, but both of them are still on the outside looking in. So, I would definitely put myself outside the top 10. I've had a really fortunate schedule.
So let's see.
I think the Cowboys would definitely be in my top 10. I don't know if
Yeah,
I put them at number 10 or 9, but definitely in it.
I'd put him in there. He's a good player. I mean, I was down. In
What
the
about the
last...
Bengals?
Ooh, we can't forget about the Bengals. He's at a.
He's in an
He
identity
didn't-
crisis.
He's really trying to get those rookies involved, and it seems like he's trying to get them involved a little bit much, because I mean, his rookies have had really good years, but he's not the same player he was last year.
It's his offense. I think the one thing you noticed about his offense last year was his explosive as hell. He beat you deep any chance he got. This year he doesn't have it. Something about the speed either isn't as fast or his quarterback can't throw it that deep. I don't know what it is. His defense is definitely better. And that's the kind of, adjustment that he needed to make, but his run game still isn't as good as it needs to be. And when your offensive weapons are Perriman and he's not beating people, I don't know what to tell you, because that is his bread and butter, is speed, speed, and speed.
Just win, baby.
Exactly. But yeah, he's got a lot of youth, and that probably next year I'm going to be putting him top 2 in the AFC if everybody develops the way they should. But I don't know about this year.
So, would you put him at 10 then?
I'd probably
And then
put him
Cowboys
at
at 9?
Cowboys 9, Bengals 10 right now.
It's a toss-up. I mean, if you had to put...
It's like a Bills-Browns situation, just of a lesser tier.
Well, who would you rather face in the playoffs? Packers or Bengals? Because that's probably
Packers.
the argument you got to...
Packers.
You'd rather face the Packers.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't know who I'd face. I think both of them are on that verge
I mean, I've
getting
played
better.
the Bengals, and I mean, he's a good user, but I feel like if I had a little more time to scheme the game plan, I feel like he's a manageable opponent as well. But I'd be feeling more comfortable if I knew I had to face Jamie, and that's no personal thing. I just think it's. I mean, he plays good offense, but he can become one-dimensional when he tries to get it to LeBron.
I'll give you that. I personally, I've only played one of them, and that's Bengals, and I beat him on a Hail Mary at the end of the game. I mean,
hell of a game, though.
Lucky-ass game. That's all I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here and I'm going, am I worried more about the Bengals' defense? But then you got Packers with those top 2 corners and Amos and Darby, and I'm like, okay, so then you take the defenses out. Running game-wise, they're both about the same. They do enough to get by. And then you look at the wide receivers, where you got LeBron Williams and Tyreek Hill on the Packers versus the new young kid, Avery, Demaryius Thomas, and Perriman with Eifert. I mean... Personally, I think those top 2 wide receivers in Green Bay get more.
Is
I
Cooper
think I'm
still
more
there?
scared of those.
Or is Cooper gone?
Cooper. I think Cooper is still there. That's a good point. I forgot about Cooper.
Yeah, he did too.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. Yeah, I think he's forgotten about him too. That's a good point. But I don't know. I just feel like the Packers are getting more out of their offense. And at the end of the day, it's about scoring points. And we learned that in the Super Bowl.
I think what we learned in the Super Bowl is that key defensive plays win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, timely turnovers and playing good
and who
offense.
has the ball and who has the
Yep.
ball last wins the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry. but
It's
that-
about playing smart from the first quarter to the last and not having like any mental lapse, because one little lapse in a big game against a top tier opponent, one turnover, because I mean shit happens. You know, you never
Did
know
you
what's
watch that
gonna
game, though,
exactly
Elgato?
happen. I caught
Did
most
you
of
watch
it.
Okay.
Hell of a rushing performance by O'Reilly.
I personally thought the Bills played the best game I've seen him play. Like,
Yeah, he was-
offensively, he
was good.
scripted it perfect.
Yeah,
And it still wasn't enough for that high-power offense. I'm sorry, but
I can see that. Yeah, yeah, all right.
he didn't do anything
lot of-
wrong.
A lot of it was just some big plays here, some big plays there.
Big time players make big time plays.
Yep. I
So-
agree with that completely.
So that wraps up our top 10 power ranking. Let's see. This playoff race, let's look at the AFC. You know, right now the 1 seed as of Daddy Leagues is the Steelers.
Which will probably
they're-
be that.
And right now they're saying that the Jaguars hold the 2 seed still, even after just losing. Then you have Bulldogs at 3, Bills at 4, Browns at 5, and you are at 6, Acid. Now, I had a chance to talk to Chef for just a moment earlier today. We were hoping to get him on the show. But let's see. I asked him, going down the home stretch of the season, just give us a synopsis, you know, like the state of the Jaguars. And this is what he had to say. Well, Saucy Reeds comes back in a week or two, so we will be even better when he comes back to the practice and is finally cleared to play in the games. Jaguars won't have to rely on the big shoulders to Manny Bugs when Saucy comes back. Hopefully our organization doesn't blow our 3-game lead in the division. Not sure how confident I am. It's the Chef way to blow a lead. Theoretically, we should clinch the division with 2 or 3 wins. More wins. But we'll probably end up as the lowest non-wild card team. Also say this. Packers will choke and miss playoffs. The Bears will take the Packers' place in the playoffs.
I don't know about the Bears, but I'll give you the Cowboys maybe.
So, you heard it there first from Chef himself down in Jacksonville.
I don't think Chef goes any lower than a 3 seed.
I don't
His
think he
ske-
can.
I'd have to look at his schedule to really say it, but I mean, he's had a pretty good season, and with that running back doing the work he has been, it's hard to lose games when you got a back that good and your quarterback's coming back.
Yep. Yeah, in that
So-
division, I think if he finishes 3 seed just because Bulldogs just went out because they're that good, I could see that. And I could see Steelers winning out and going undefeated for the regular season. So, in my opinion, I could see Jaguars going 3 and Bulldogs being 2. After that, it gets a little mucky.
Yeah, I mean,
Bills would be 4. If he just stays the course.
He can't not make the playoffs. Everybody in his division is
Yeah.
2-7, but
yeah.
I don't know how, like you guys said, I don't know how into it this season he is. I mean, his offense hasn't been what it has been in the past. He's struggling to run, although last week he had a really good running performance, but other than last week, I mean, it's not like it was last year.
I don't know if
But-
it's he's struggling to run or more so that he's got 2 running backs now, the Shimada brothers. So I don't know if it's more that or whatnot, you know? Like he's trying
Yeah,
to get both
I'm-
of them in.
When I'm looking at the broader spectrum here for the AFC picture, though, when you flash forward to Week 13, the Browns and the Bengals play. Now, last season they split, I believe, if I recall
Yeah,
correctly.
I think the first game Bengals snuck up on them and really we were like, holy shit. And then the second game it was like a totally different story. Browns
Yep.
had his number big time.
This game has immense implications on the playoff picture. These teams both have, I believe the Bengals have one more loss than the Browns right now. They're neck and neck in the race behind the